Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be working through some spreads for books I have read in the month of December and January. So far, I've mostly done videos on the monthly setups for my reading journal, but I wanted to include what usually comes after those spreads. Each month I would pick out my favorite book and do a full spread on it with some themed images and some of my thoughts. I've been reading a lot of books lately that I really enjoyed, so I decided to include not just my 5-star reads, but also my 4.5-star reads, since I wanted to shine a light on them also. So for this spread, we have my books from December that I loved, which was House of Hollow and Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwrecks. House of Hollow is a YA horror thriller novel about 3 sisters who had gone missing in their childhood and then reappeared without warning, and slowly their appearances have started to change and they have this sort of otherworldly quality and power over other people. Now, when the sisters are older, only the youngest is still living with their mother and the other 2 are world famous. Suddenly, the oldest sister goes missing again, and the other 2 sisters are trying to track her down and find out if this is in any way connected to the disappearance they had when they were children. I really love this book. It had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. I think it was just the right amount of body horror for me, since I am really bad with all types of gore, but this was both creepy but kind of paired with it being eerily beautiful. I rated this 5 stars, which in retrospect might be a little generous because there was a romance in the story that I really did not care for at all, and would have liked to have been left out, but overall I love the vibes and the pacing of the story. The other book, Nobleman's Guide, is a YA historical adventure novel. This is the 3rd and final book in the Montague siblings series, and it follows the youngest of the siblings, Adrian, as he tries to come to terms with the events of his mother's death and some mysteries from her past. This leads to him meeting his long-lost older siblings and having an adventure around the world with them, as pretty much all of the Montague books do. There's a lot of really beautiful scenic locations. This book, more so than the others, is a character study of the relationships between the siblings than a typical adventure novel. All of the books have a mystical MacGuffin type item in them that sets the story in motion, and this one probably meant the least in terms of like actual world impact. I rated this 4.5 stars. I really did love seeing all the characters from the first 2 books again. Monty is even more of a mess, and Felicity I actually really enjoyed. I think she was a lot more better developed than she was in her own book. And I also really love Adrian. He was just so cute and sweet. For all the spreads, I'm doing themed photos that I get from royalty-free sites, along with washi tape and stickers that I feel fit the overall vibe of the book. I kind of made my Nobleman's Guide a little too cramped. I wish I'd done this as 2 pages. I think I just kind of got overzealous with the header, but I think I can still make it work. The other set of spreads here are books from January that I loved. I actually had to do another set of spreads because I loved a lot of the books I read this month, and I actually had another 5-star that I want to include, so I'm going to have to add that later on. The first book here is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, which is a YA queer contemporary novel about 2 boys who form a bond over a summer and just their development over the course of a year as they grow and learn more about themselves. I'm going to talk more about this book in an upcoming video, but I really love the writing style and how natural it felt through the lens of a teenage boy. It's told through the perspective of Ari, but Dante is definitely my favorite character. He's just so funny, and there were so many times I was legit laughing out loud to the things he said. And I rated this 5 stars. The other book here is The City Beautiful, which is a YA queer historical mystery set in Chicago during the 1983 World's Fair, and follows a young Jewish man who gets possessed by the spirit of his friend who was brutally murdered. And until he finds the murderer, the spirit will slowly take over his body and kill him as well. I really like this book for similar reasons to why I liked House of Hollow, in that I felt it was really well paced and I enjoyed the writing style. It was easy to get immersed in the story and connect to the main trio of heroes. I also brought up that the main character is Jewish because Jewish culture and folklore is at the heart of this book. And there's actually a glossary in the back of all the different terms that are used. I saw a Goodreads review for this that went something like, if you're Jewish, you should read this book, and if you're not Jewish, you should also still read this book. And I'm in the second category, but I would say yes, everyone should read this book. It was really good. I also want to say, if you're Jewish, though, that there was some pretty strong anti-Semitism in the later half through some of the characters, so I would be mindful if that's something that could be triggering for you. For The City Beautiful, I used a sticker from the video game Off, since I thought Off has kind of like a 1920s-ish era theme to it, and I just thought that the monster character would kind of fit the same tone. And those are the 2 book spreads I did for my best reads from the beginning of the year. I definitely will be doing this sporadically as I read new favorite books throughout the year. But that is it for today's video. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!